Hi, everyone. Happy Wednesday to everybody. My name is Diane Willock. I'm a customer success coach here with Supermoms in the US. And I'm joined by Maria Stanford, who is a customer success coach in the UK. And today we are going to be talking just a little bit about our Supermoms training program and why our program is different and some of the top reasons why individuals choose to take our training program. And we'd love to answer any of your questions live. So please do post to our comments, ask us questions about Supermoms training, and find out if there's any pressing questions that you have, anything that we can answer for you live here today. We'd love to do it. So Maria, maybe you can talk what you consult with individuals on that are looking to take our training courses, and tell everybody why you feel some of your top reasons why people should enroll in the Supermoms training program and how we're different from other training programs.
Yeah, I'd love to kickstart. And we do love answering questions live. We've been spoiled, haven't we, the last few weeks? So for me, certainly from my own perspective, I do think here at Supermoms, we do have a really unique training offering, because it is training. Of course it is. It's brilliant training, but it's actually all of those other support pillars that I often talk about with our potential trainees, because doing my own career change in 2019 and studying and doing all of that, when I got to the end of my course and I was holding my certification, I was left kind of thinking, oh, gosh, what next? What do I do? Mm-hmm. But the fact that I love, of Supermoms is that, we actually have those support pillars in place. So yes, it is about the training, but actually they get access to boost your career modules, which are helping you with LinkedIn and your CV and your branding and all of those really important steps that you can work alongside your training to really then come, when they then come back to us and actually have that coaching and recruitment support and all of those support pillars, I think are really important for actually taking those next steps really confidently into the ecosystem. So that's probably my top favorite. What about you?
So yeah, just kind of building on that support, that we have is one of the things that Supermoms provides for you, and especially in our admin administrator courses, our ultimate admin course, is the opportunity to have a mentor. So we have a mentorship that runs throughout that course. So you will be paired up with a Salesforce professional, someone who's there to make sure that what you're learning you feel confident in that. So they kind of are there to look at, you have an opportunity during your learning to kind of build out in your org and, show your core competencies, and your mentor is there to check and make sure that you're understanding the learning and you're prepared and you know how to apply those lessons, so to speak, to the real world. So I love the fact that you're able to have that mentor throughout your course. A lot of our trainees develop a very close relationship with their mentor and are able to, ask questions, not only about the training, but just about careers in general, Salesforce careers in general. So they're there to help them throughout the course. That's probably one of my favorite aspects of our program, is being able to have that, that support, that connection, but also having your own mentor to be there with you, hold your hand throughout our program. So that along, and it also brings up the point that, we know through those mentorship relationships that what you're learning, you understand and you're prepared, because they are kind of what we say, checking your work every week. So what you're doing, they're checking your work. So it's just another way for you to feel confident that what you're doing and what you're working on is the correct way to do it, and that you're prepared. So I love having that mentorship trainee relationship as part of our program.
Yeah. And I think that probably then leads into, having that support and that mentorship where you've got that quality check, if you like, builds confidence, doesn't it? To know that you're going to go and be a good Salesforce admin when you enter that ecosystem.
Mhm.
But then that also leads really nicely into that work experience piece. And we really do pride ourselves on that work experience piece because it's such an important part of the puzzle, isn't it? Of, having those 12 weeks of training, having that mentorship, having that support, testing out and learning those new skills, but then being in a safe environment, but a real live environment to then really kind of show what you've learned and test all those new skills out in that safe space. So I think that leads nicely, doesn't it? Because your mentor obviously helps through that work experience time as well.
Right.
And that journey, with your work experience, that means then that you and your mentorship and training team, but you actually end up with kind of 3 recommendations, don't you, off the back of the course?
Right.
Which again goes a long way when you're taking those first steps.
Right. It goes a long way. I mean, to build up your resume takes a lot of, different areas. And one of them is being able to have, have people that support you and could show that support through a recommendation. So by the time you're done with that Supermom course, you have a recommendation from your trainer that you've spent time with, from your mentor who knows you very well, and from your project manager or live work experience manager that you're working with. So having 3 recommendations out of the training program is really essential. It does help you out tremendously. So it's really just about building up your confidence, building up your resume, your CV. Having those recommendations does help. It does help, gaining into that first role. We have a question.
Oh.
I have completed a Salesforce specialist training with 2 certificates, admin and app builder, I believe. I applied. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure I understand the question because it says I applied for a position but not accepted. So I don't know if that was through our recruitment.
So this is really interesting. So
Right.
I think I can probably answer this because I think maybe perhaps I know the answer to this.
Okay.
So I think what you're saying is that you actually applied for the administrator position at Supermums, but you perhaps didn't get the role. So I can explain that. So actually, we did open our administrator role out to all of, for everybody to be able to apply. And what I can say is actually the lady that we actually employed for that role was entry level. That was her first role within the Salesforce ecosystem.
Right.
So we haven't actually hired anybody that had previous experience actually for that role. So, and I actually coached this particular lady, actually earlier on in, actually at the latter part of last year. So this was her first new administrator role. She's actually now settled in really nicely, and but she's learning, and that's what it is about. Actually, it is about taking that opportunity to employ entry-level Salesforce administrators, isn't it? So it does happen, and I'm so sorry that obviously that role wasn't offered to you, but it was somebody that was actually entry-level that has joined us here at Supermoms.
Right. And that's going to happen. And there's a lot of those roles out there, right? I mean, it's just like any type of job search that you're going to be doing. There's going to be roles that you apply for that you aren't accepted to, and you have to keep going. So that's part of getting into a new career and shifting. Us as career coaches, we talk to individuals all the time, and not just, particular to the Salesforce industry, but it happens everywhere when you're trying to get into a new career or shift into something new. It takes time. It takes time to put in that effort, and there'll be another, where one opportunity closes for you, there's another opportunity that opens. So making sure that, you are taking a look at, we talk about this all the time, what are your transferable skills? What are the other areas that you might be able to get a role in? There's so many different, types of administrator roles out there. Maybe there's one that's suited to you particularly well. So definitely, keep going, and something will happen for you for sure. I have Salesforce Administrative Certificate I want to apply for entry-level jobs in Salesforce, how to go about in Supermom. So I think this is another maybe question that maybe they would like to get our recruitment link, I think, probably.
Yeah, because I think recruitment can help here. And
Right.
so what I would say is if you're going for any interview, so for example, with the administrator position here at Supermums, if you've not been successful, I would definitely get feedback.
Right.
Okay. Why wasn't you suitable for that position?
Right.
Now, I can assure we had lots of applications for that role. It was a really popular role because, of course, it is. Those entry level roles are, you're going to want to, you're going to want to be able to, or you've got to go into a big pool, for any job search. So what I would be saying is, what's the feedback? What can you learn from that? What can you take forward? And I think these ones around here where, how do you apply for entry level jobs? And exactly, everybody's asking for work experience, right? So when we see a job role and we see, maybe 1 or 2 years experience, that puts us off actually applying. But as coaches, Diane, we would be saying, wouldn't we? An employer has a wish list. Okay. And that wish list will contain all sorts of things, just like that everybody I hope here has got a wish list of what job they would like to go and get, because it's important to have a clear indication from both sides what you're looking to go and achieve and recruit for within that ecosystem. They're going to have a wish list. But actually, if you apply and you don't hit all of the points that they're looking for, but you're the right fit for that company, or you've got those transferable skills, or they like your personality, then actually the experience side you can learn. Right? They might be willing to take a punt on that and kind of go, okay, do you know what? I think you'd be a brilliant fit. You've got your certification. So I wouldn't let that hold you back. I think we see this and we stop ourselves.
Right. Shoot for those. And you're exactly right. Anybody who posts a job out there is going to say, 1 to 3 years experience is what we see for entry level. And then it starts that whole question in our mind. Well, how do we, get experience if we're entry level? You have to remember too, that work experience, transferable skills, no matter where you've worked or other work experience is work experience. So it's one of those cases where you probably have other work experience that transfers very well over to that role. And if you don't have direct Salesforce experience right away, you still may be a great fit for that position because again, they have their wish list. But there are other aspects and experiences in your career that would translate very well to that role. And they'd be willing to, again, interview you. And once you interview, then that's when the magic starts, right? Then it's up to you to understand how you can, assure them, because it's really all about taking risks. Companies take risks with the individuals that they hire. They want to know that you're a good fit and you're able to fit in, with their organization. So it's one of the reasons, though, that we do offer that work experience for our training program, because we realize that at least if you're getting some of that work experience and as part of your training, you're going to come out the other end on Supermom's training and be able to, show your work that you've done, and you will have some work experience. But I would then, again, same thing that Maria said, challenge to find out, get some feedback. What was the feedback from that interview? And what could you work on in the future to make sure that you're addressing those, those issues that maybe have arose from not being chosen for that position.
Yeah.
I was going to put the recruitment link in here
because I think that would be helpful because certainly our recruitment team, they are placing entry level admins into roles.
Right.
So it is happening, but you will see probably even from our own adverts, nothing says entry level. In fact, you probably won't find a job role that says entry level because they're working from a wish list.
Right.
But be bold and be brave to kind of go, okay, this looks like something that I would really enjoy. I think my transferable skills will work really well here. I like that culture fit. I like the company. I'm going to go for it. If you're not successful, then ask for feedback. And I think also kind of as I think we've kind of said previously, it is about applying and perhaps using recruitment companies as well, to land that role, but actually doing that research on companies that you might like to go and work for, and doing a
Mhm.
bespoke cover letter and doing that outreach of kind of going, okay, I'm certified, this is what I would love to do within your company. You just never know where those opportunities are going to come to fruition.
Right,
And
right.
it's good practice, to write cover letters, to do that outreach, to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Putting yourself outside of that comfort zone a little bit, and you're exactly right too about that research. Research that organization that you're interested in that role. Find out a little bit more about them, and understand why maybe you would be a great fit for that organization, even if you don't have that 1 to 3 years of experience. Reach out to somebody that works in a similar role. Find somebody that you can network with. There's a lot of different ways that you can assess your job search, and it takes a multifaceted approach, right? Not just
Yes.
applying for a role. There's networking that you should do, some research on your end. So we talk about this a lot with those that we support, because we know it can be difficult and disheartening at times when you think that you don't have that, you don't have that experience, you're not sure what to do. But I can trust me, people get hired every day with little experience, and it's just about finding the right fit for yourself and making sure that you understand that you're a good fit for that organization. So good question, though. I'm glad that came up,
Yeah.
because we do talk about that quite a bit.
Yeah, we do. And I think, that's why that work experience piece is so important in our course, because it does
Right.
start to build that confidence. In fact, when you go and interview, you can talk from a place of experience rather than that kind of fictational learning that you might be doing to pass that certification, for example, if you're doing that by self-study. When you've actually got that and you can actually talk from experience, that really does help, doesn't it, when you're in that interview situation?
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. And you can
So
kind of show your work.
yeah,
Hmm.
and show your skills. And it is about that. It is about understanding, what your skill set is and those transferable skills. And that's, I guess, that kind of led into that question, really, didn't it? Because certainly our work experience is something that all of our super mums definitely value, isn't it?
Hmm. That's right. Right. So good. I'm glad we talked about that, because that is definitely one of the best parts about our training program. That mentorship, that work experience.
Yeah.
I think if there's other aspects of our training program that I think are very unique. One of them is that we have this learning platform, that the learning style that is based on cohorts. You actually have a class of individuals that are learning with you, and so you're not left on your own. You're part of a cohort, all learning at the same time. And we purposely keep our cohorts, smaller, so that they're manageable, so that you do receive more of that support. If you join a program where there's a lot of learners at one time, you might not be able to get that individualized support that you need. So if you're someone that, wants to make sure that during your training program you have someone to go to ask questions to, you have someone that can give you some extra help. Our group and our cohort or individual learners is a great place to be, because there's always lots of support for you when you have questions about anything, and keeping it smaller really makes it more personal, I think. So that's a good part of our training too.
It is, and it's nice for the training team as well, isn't it? Because we
Right.
do have a dedicated training team that obviously deliver that live training aspect, but are also, from the cohorts, you've got your peer support, of course, but from a training team perspective, they are there to be able to help and support as well. So you've got lots of different areas that you can go to, and lots of different people that you can go to for help and support along that learning journey, because it's different for everybody, isn't it, that learning journey?
Right.
And some people, that mentor can be that person, your go-to person, or there's somebody in the training team that you click with, or, you've got that really good, I mean, we know that most of our cohorts kind of go and create WhatsApp groups, and, they're all learning together and kind of utilizing each other for that support and momentum to get them, across the line, aren't they?
Right. And our trainers are certified, Salesforce trainers. They go through a pretty rigorous process to be trained, to be able to even instruct in Salesforce. So you can, be confident that your trainer has a lot of experience, training, but also within Salesforce. So they're there to support you, answer your questions, and really give you the best possible outcome. From a training perspective. So that's another thing. And one of the other points I wanted to bring up too is that we have international and global partners, right, that work with us and sponsor our training programs. And what that also allows you to have is you're privy to some outside, other training, on some of our ISV partners will come in and do some other training on their, products or in other areas. So it's not just learning Salesforce, but it's learning about kind of the global community as well, and from our partners, and just you learn about other areas within the Salesforce ecosystem that I think is really important. So you kind of understand, what it's all about, what the ecosystem is all about. So that's another great point of our, what you'll get from our training courses too.
Yeah, it gives you good exposure as well, doesn't it, with our sponsors?
Right.
And it gives you an insight perhaps into other areas that you might want to then venture into, which is brilliant, and also a great networking opportunity.
Great networking. Right. Networking beyond, right. Networking. We talk about that all the time with our Supermoms community. We have we just surpassed 900 trainees globally. So you have that big community of people to network with, but then we have our partners that we work with and sponsor our training programs. You have your cohorts and your peers that you're training with, our alumni. So we have a really wide outreaching network that's global, that really is global. So
we're probably just scratching the surface, really, because I think our course is brilliant. We've got so many different aspects to it, haven't we? And when I was speaking to somebody yesterday, they said, you seem to have everything covered. And I was kind of like, well, this is what we try to do,
right.
Especially if we see something, that does need attention, or somebody, does need that help, then, I think by the way of even coaching, obviously.
Right.
That's not new to Supermums, but certainly that support at the end of the course where you're looking at those next steps, that is really important, isn't it? And when those things are missing, you can feel a bit lost.
Right. Maria and I was going to say, Maria and I like to toot our horn a little bit, right? Because having that one-on-one coaching, I mean, we're career coaches, and that's one of the best aspects, I think, of the training program is getting that personal one-on-one coaching with either myself or Maria to help you, work through, get you job ready and get you into that role. Because I know from my perspective, when I talk to individuals, I think the process that really they do not look forward to is going through the resume or going through their CV. And that could take a long time. And it's just something that, they don't really want to do and they put off for a while. And that's one of the areas that we can help on is take a look at, your CV, your resume, give you some tips, get you Salesforce ready for that market and that next role. So, we do that personalized one-on-one coaching with you. It really is helpful because we get to know who you are and what your situation is. We talk about what are your goals? What do you hope to achieve? What type of roles would you be best suited for? It's sometimes hard to do that on your own, but being a career coach, we're used to that. We love doing that. We like talking to people one-on-one, and we love to help out. So that's another great part of our training program.
Yeah. I think we've got the best one.
We do. do. So, just a quick summary too, because I know we're running out of time. I love the questions. Thank you, everyone, for asking questions. Continue to ask questions and post comments because we will get back to you and we will answer your questions. We do have a Salesforce training class, administrator training class coming up on February the 23rd in the US, actually February the 21st in the UK. So we will have 2 cohorts. And we're running up on the deadline to register for that. And we do have a deadline because we want to make sure that we do keep our cohorts smaller and you get that one-on-one support. But if you're interested, please do, go to I think maybe Maria dropped the link in the comment section. Take a look at our courses. If you're interested in being part of our Salesforce administrator course, then you can get in by February and start training already. And we'd love to have you. We'd love to talk to you, and we'd love you to be a part of our Supermoms community.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm just going to drop our Calendly link in as well, Diane, just in case anybody wants to reach out to us directly.
Right.
Then we would love to be able to chat with anybody
on
these next steps.
Yes, definitely. If you need more help or you want to talk a little bit more about if this course would be a good fit for you, you can sign up for an appointment on our Calendly. Either of us would be happy to talk to you, and we can give you a little bit more information, answer your questions, and again, just see personal, if this is a good fit for you. So just let us know.
Definitely.
And I think that's it till next week.
Thank you so much for hosting. You're always like hostess with the mostess. Thank you.
I try.
See you next week.
All right. See you next week, everybody. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.